Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua, and this is the 11th video of my video journal series. Today's date is Thursday, the 19th of February 2026. And something I wanted to share with you today is a video game, more specifically, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, Raidou Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army. Now, if that sounds sort of familiar, that's because this game actually got a remaster last year called Devil Summoner versus the Soulless Army on Nintendo Switch, PC, and PS5. So, yeah, and just for today's purposes, I'll be reviewing the PS2 version because I've actually completed this game. And yeah, I think I got this game in late 2024 and I didn't beat it until around January of 2025. So I played it for a few months and I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. And I think, for what it's worth, a PlayStation 2 game, it's pretty alright. There's some things about this game which were pretty innovative, other areas which are quite outdated by today's standards, but overall, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the plot of this game, and I really love the art style. Like early 2000s SMT, it's got a more like grittier, um, edgier, like a lot more darker look than most modern games nowadays. It's got like that certain art style which I really love. You know, as much as I love the new SMT games like SMT5 and all that, I do kind of like miss this sort of like art style, especially in game. Just really nostalgic for me for that era. But yeah. So to start off, this game you play as a detective called Raidou Kuzunoha, and you basically solve crimes around the capital, which is the in-game city. That's what it's called, the capital. How original! But you basically solve crimes. You solve this main case of a girl who's gone missing, and I don't want to reveal too much because the ending really like encapsulates it. But yeah, so you basically just solve crimes around the city. Obviously, you solve the case of the missing girl, and you do all these like mini puzzles, slay demons along the way. Um, yeah, and something I have to say about this game is it is a spin-off of a spin-off. So it's part of the Shin Megami Tensei series. Imagine like, you know, a tree, right? SMT is like the main branch. That's the mainline series. If you heard of Persona, Persona is technically a spin-off of SMT. That's how it began. So imagine a tree with many branches. The main branch is SMT. You have like this branch, which is Persona, and then you got another branch, which is the Devil Summoner games, and then you got a branch off that branch, which is the Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunoha games, because there's one and two, and there's the remastered one. So yeah, it's a spin-off of a spin-off, but no, very enjoyable, and the battle system I found pretty innovative for its time. You're basically in an arena and it's real time and it's like a sort of like hack and slash. You just mash these buttons to slay demons, command demons to slay other demons. But something I didn't like about the PS2 one is that the camera is fixed. It doesn't follow you around. Unlike the second game on PS2 and the remaster, which is actually like a free moving camera. The camera follows you around as you move around the arena. If this game, the camera stays in the exact same spot, which it's something I didn't mind at first, but when I played the second game and the remaster, I was like, man, this makes a huge, huge difference. And I noticed there's a little bit of residue on this case. It really annoys me because I like to keep all of my games in good condition, and I always hate it when you go to like CEX. This is just a little side rant, but when you go to like CEX or EB Games, I know it's not their fault, but there was like cracks in the case. Like some games, like who the hell, just like throws their PS2, CD, DVD cases around like that, and so much that it leaves cracks. Like, come on, take good care of your games. Like, it isn't that hard to do. You know, And I remember I went to like a JB Hi-Fi once. I saw like this anime DVD or Blu-ray, sorry, Blu-ray. They had like a massive crack in it, and they were still selling it. And I'm like, all right, JB Hi-Fi, they're supposed to be selling new stuff. This isn't new. It's got a big, massive hole in it. You know, unless someone dropped it, but why they're still selling it? They should just discount it, if you ask me. But whatever. Yeah. So end of my mini side rant about people abusing their game collections. This game, yeah, I found the in-game battle system to be innovative, but in one area, a little bit lacked. You can fuse and capture demons. I find that pretty satisfying. It's part of like what the SMT franchise is well known for. It's a monster collecting game, sort of like Pokemon, but not like Pokemon because you can only capture one type of each demon. So if you already got one Jack Frost in your party, you can't get another one, which I don't know why. But yeah, so this game released in 2006. That was, I think this game actually released like a month before I was born, at least in PAL territories or Japan. It released around the same time I was born. That's my main point. But yeah, and it's much of a lesser known, obscure game within the PS2 library and the Megami Tensei series. Because before the remaster, you only really had this game and the second game, King Abaddon. Abaddon? How do you pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, and I really hope they make like a third game out of the series because the first game, I always found it just cool. Like, and it's in like it's set in a time era, historical era that's not really explored a lot within media. That is the 1920s Japan. The only other piece of media I can think of that is set within 1920s Japan is actually Mao by Rumiko Takahashi. Part of that set in the 1920s. And coincidentally, that manga is also about demons, which, correlation or causation, I don't know. But yeah, so I guess I'll do a little bit more talking about the game itself. You got all these like side characters. You even got Rasputin in the game. Rasputin's in the game. Um, and you got this guy. I think was he General Tanaka? I think that was his name. He's one of the antagonists of this game. I found his story arc to be pretty interesting. I found the Red Army, which is based not the Red Army, sorry, the Soulless Army. Don't get them confused. I would actually be in big trouble if I got it confused. The Soulless Army. I don't know why I get the term red. The Soulless Army is basically the villains in this game. They're all artificial, I guess, robot creations created by this guy who basically wants to like a Neon Genesis Evangelion style of ending the world and asserting control over humanity and building robots, human instrumentality project sort of stuff. That's most probably a horrible explanation, but I don't care. That's the first thing that popped into my mind. It really reminds me of Gendo, to be honest. But yeah, so I just found the whole detective aspects of this game really satisfying. But I think it's one of those games that I swear you don't play it for 2 weeks. You just save, take the disc out of the tray, put it back on your shelf. Don't play it for 2 weeks, and you restart the game from where you left off, and you have like no idea what's happening. That's me with this game. The remaster, I think, holds your hand a little bit too much, but it gives you like a mini indicator on the map where you need to go. This game, you just reboot it, and you're like, all right, what do I need to do? So you most probably have to go back to the Narumi Detective Agency, which is like the main hub of the game, where you save and heal your demons. And it will sort of give you a hint of what to do if you just talk to Narumi, which is basically your boss of, the boss of Raidou Kuzunoha. They're both detectives. And he'll give you like a hint on what to do. But at the same time, I'm pretty dumb. And, I often forget what I was doing, what quests I was doing, like if I was supposed to look for a specific demon but I forgot, or solve a specific puzzle. Um, and I usually have to like boot up game facts and just get reminded of what to do, what the boss's weaknesses are, you know. But no, apart from that, that's like a really minor complaint. It is really a good game, and if you want to play it, I recommend getting the remaster on Steam, um, or Nintendo Switch, or whatever platform this game's available on. The remaster, I mean, because the remaster, I haven't completed it, but it's way, way, way better in a lot of aspects. And, I remember buying this game for like an arm and a leg, only to find out months later they're releasing a remaster. So I was like, oh, what's the point? But no, it's a nice little collectible, and hopefully I'll cover the second game and remaster as well. I really hope, yet again, they do make like a third game out of this series, because I'm very like fascinated by just the mechanics of this game and the characters as well. I love the art style. I love the character development. I like just the main plot line and the setting of this game, which I think is not something that's explored a whole lot today. Um, but yeah, that's all I have to say. That's just a quick sort of, not really overview, but just like general thoughts about this game, which I think you should definitely experience for yourself if you like SMT. But yeah, that's all I have to say, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.